What's up, guys? And today I wanted to make this video because recently I've been seeing and hearing a lot about Conor McGregor. For one, he had released his documentary. I believe at this point it was just 3 weeks ago, 3 or 2 weeks ago, something around there. And The Ultimate Fighter just started last Wednesday, so it was either Wednesday or maybe Tuesday. Yeah, I think Tuesday, May 30th. And also, like, he's been getting called out by some people because in his videos, he has been looking a bit weird, like, the way he's been talking in certain interviews. But then you look at other interviews and it seems normal. Maybe he was just, like, intoxicated during those interviews, like, drinking too much or something like that. I wouldn't know because I don't drink if that happens to you. But either way, let's talk about his documentary first. And it starts like 4 months after the Floyd Mayweather fight. And it's pretty interesting to see, like, he took that loss pretty well. Obviously, like, I don't think it was as bad as, like, losing an MMA fight. Because, he spent his whole life, like, trying to make it in MMA. And that's like his primary focus. The Floyd Mayweather fight was kind of a side quest. So I honestly wouldn't think that would be as devastating as something like losing an MMA fight, because he spent his whole life doing it, and that's what he has the most pride in. That's the best thing he's at. But either way, like, after the Floyd Mayweather fight, we all know he fought Khabib, and it was very, very heated. A dark rivalry. Conor was like really did not like the dude, but you can kind of see that his mindset was not in the right spot. First of all, you don't want to go into a fight emotional and like hating a guy. Like, you can have some trash talking in there, but you gotta be like, keep your calmness like at a good spot. But even though he was getting like angry with Khabib and everything. But the way he was training, like, he was, like, doing some stuff, like, outside of training, like, drinking, like, partying and things like that. And, that's not that good. Like, you want to still stay in shape. And he was actually injured. Like, when he said that his foot was a balloon, that meme we've all seen, he was actually telling the truth. Like, he injured his, I think it was his left foot. Like, he had some type of injury to it. And, when he got the injury, he wasn't, like, reacting calmly either. Like, he was very frustrated, very angry, like, getting pissed off at the dude who's trying to help him. And, like, at one point, the dude tries to, like pop it back in, like, his toe or whatever. And Conor's, like, getting amped up at that. But then when, like, his foot, like, starts feeling better, he's, like, light work and everything. So it's very interesting to see his kind of, like, who he is, like, behind the camera. Even though the camera was there, it seemed like that's who his personality is. Like, I mean, we've seen it over the years, but, like, just seeing it, like, behind the scenes, kind of, and, like, at his gym, like, where he's comfortable and everything, it's pretty interesting to see. And another thing about Conor is, like, he in that lead up to the Khabib fight, it seems like he was doing a lot of sparring, and specifically hard sparring. Like, he was beating on some of his opponents. His opponents were trying to crack him back, like, throwing really hard shots. And, when you get into things like that, I feel like if you do that for the most part and most of your training, I don't think you're gonna get as better, or you're gonna improve as much as if you just took it down a bit. Like, if you was, like, sparring and training, but he kind of took the intensity down and just focused on, like, okay, let's really time these shots and, like, let's see if we can defend these shots and work on, like, getting back up to your feet for, like, and, like, let's have a relentless guy that's going to keep on shooting, things like that. But either way, that was in the first episode, the whole Khabib situation. And you can tell that after the fight, it really did hurt him. Like, Dana White was trying to talk to him about, the Khabib's friends should not have done that, or his cousins or whatever. They shouldn't have jumped in the cage. Because after the fight, there was a brawl started by Khabib going after Dylan Dennis, and then Khabib's cousins like jumped in the cage and started punching Conor. And Dana was like, "I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna get these guys or whatever." And Conor was like, he didn't care about that. Like he was just all he could think about was the loss to Khabib. And then in the following episode, it showed him doing some like community like rehabilitation work. Like he was working with like the communities and everything, and like like kind of like helping around with church, and that was pretty cool. Like to see that, because obviously like Conor, like he's just a huge like personality, like huge figure, very known, but it still shows that we all are like still like we all gotta do our work to serve to help out. And him going to church was really cool. Him like finding like God again, because I feel like at a certain point he was starting to think that he was God. Like there's this one press conference where he was saying like, "I'm cool with Jesus," and like he was saying that gods recognize gods, basically referring to himself as that. But after that like situation, I think he started to come back down to earth, and it was nice to see that of him. And then obviously like he showed what was happening for the Cowboy fight. Now I didn't find that one to be too interesting, because like everyone kind of knew that was a tune-up fight for him, and I don't think there was anything significant in that. But then there's the Dustin Poirier one, and him reacting to Khabib retiring was nice as well. But overall, it was like a pretty cool like documentary. He wasn't like sitting down and like talking about his career like some like you see in other documentaries. Like they were kind of taking clips from his old interviews and bringing them in to this, but it wasn't bad. It was overall pretty solid documentary. But now moving on to The Ultimate Fighter, and that was a good first episode. Conor McGregor got all the prospects. Michael Chandler got the veterans. They weren't talking too much trash or being pretty respectful. And for the first fight, there's this dude that was in the UFC, like the veteran, and I kind of had a feeling he was gonna win, because first of all, like the dude he was fighting, his name was like Nate something. So this Nate guy, first of all, he'd been knocked out in a league outside of the UFC, which for me was already a red flag. You're getting knocked out like that, like that's not really good. The other dude had been knocked out by Ignacio Bahamondes in the UFC, which is, you get knocked out in the UFC, whatever, but because that's the highest level. But getting knocked out like in outside, like that's not really good. But then this Nate dude, he had taken years away from the fighting, and then he came back. I think he probably had his fire relit or something like that. But when I saw him train, like, I don't want to like sound really disrespectful, because at the end of the day he's a pro, but it just did not look like he was a pro. Like it looked like he was a beginner in there. Like it was very odd to see. Like his punches were slow. I get he was a grappler, but you've got like I think he had 21 fights. I think so, something around there, 21 or 22 fights. But like him looking like that was very odd. And then the other dude, he actually looked pretty good on the feet. And Conor McGregor, first of all, he didn't show up for the weigh-ins, which was kind of weird. But he showed up late. Like the dude was warming up, and then Conor came like a couple minutes after, and Chandler was there supporting his dude. But the Nate dude, like as soon as the fight starts, his hands are like, he doesn't have his hands up. It's kind of like by his chest, and the other dude just starts like he hits him with a 1-2 straight away. And the Nate, like he didn't react at all. He was just frozen, like outside. And then like the other dude, he threw another combo, and he ends up like knocking him out just like that in like 30 seconds. It was like really like surprising to see. Like this dude has been working his whole life to make it to this moment, and he just gets finished in 30 seconds. That was not good to see. And hopefully we get to see more competitive matchups, because this is a serious competition where we could potentially see future champions. But hopefully that gets better. But to wrap up, yeah, this YouTuber was trashing McGregor for looking like he was too drunk in a video and whatever. And personally, I don't have a problem with it. I just hope he doesn't do that for that Michael Chandler fight. But that fight doesn't look like it's going to happen until December. So I think he'll be fine. But yeah, it really sucks that this fight with Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler is backed up to December, which it could have happened in summer, but